I reckon it's game day. Welcome to the special Army-Navy episode of the I Reckon podcast.
Beat 'em.
Let me get my headphones on here.
I feel your tassel's in the way. Your flora, I don't know, it looks like...
It's a plume.
Yeah, it's a plume, all right. Looks like
hold on, because you can't see how tall this is.
It looks like half a peacock.
Apparently, I held on to a little bit more stuff than I thought.
Apparently. You got your old big gray coat on?
I know. Hold on one second.
All
This is crazy.
That's quite the accoutrement.
But I do have my cadet beanie, so don't worry.
I feel woefully underdressed.
Oh,
I'm trying to represent here, but I feel terribly inadequate. Big day today, though. Big day. America's
Huge.
Day. America's game.
Yep.
Army-Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Only college football game on today. It has its own day.
Yep.
Has its own week leading up to it. On the way here to record, we were listening to the radio shows that are being hosted there in Baltimore, which is where the game's being played this year in Baltimore. So I hadn't heard any weather reports or anything, but should be exciting.
Yeah, I think around the country right now, everything's looking pretty nice, which is good. We have I brought a few things today. First of all, this map, I save maps. It's like from like random training areas, hiking trips we've done.
Yeah.
Whatever. I always love saving the maps. And so this is the West Point map that you use during cadet summer training.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then we have, was this ring weekend?
Yeah, that's what the...
Yep. So this is the ring
the
weekend
picture
pitcher. And what would you call these glasses?
A stein, maybe?
Yeah, it's like a beer glass. I've got wine glasses. I've got the wine bottle from the graduation banquet.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jordan kicked all of my trunks out of the garage.
Was they just laying in the yard? Or?
No, they were like in there in the garage stacked up, but he's got to put some stuff in there. So,
Got it.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll just bring them to the shop. And so I brought the West Point trunk over to the shop, and I was going through it. We've got the bugle notes here. Now, this isn't the knowledge book. The knowledge book I don't have anymore. The knowledge book was all the random facts that you had to know.
I remember you trying to learn all that.
Yeah, just crazy stuff. But this is more kind of like West Point history. It goes through all the monuments, which is cool. Helps you with some rank stuff, history of Camp Buckner's in here. Anyway.
Well, I mean, for any new viewers that we may have, we should talk about the fact that you're class of 2019, U.S. Army or U.S. Military Academy. And I guess what would be neat is for you to explain how you ended up there, because you didn't exactly take the traditional path into West Point.
No, and I'll be honest with you, I would not have gotten in out of high school. Those kids that get in straight out of high school, they really work for it. You have to have a high GPA, a high SAT score. You have to not only do extracurricular activities, but you have to demonstrate leadership in those. And so kids that want to go to West Point, they're making that decision. And same thing for any service academy in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And they start prepping. They've got to get a senator to nominate them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you live in a really populated state, that gets pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, I bet it does.
So my path was I actually dropped out of UC Santa Cruz. Not for grades, but it was expensive. I was taking out student loans, and I wasn't really confident in what I was doing. I enjoyed what I was doing. I didn't know if I wanted to do it forever. So,
I mean, we can tell them there was a little bit of friction between you and I at that point, too.
I mean, me and you, me and mom, you and mom, everybody was fine. Student loans will do nothing but put you in debt for the rest of your life and drive a wedge in your family.
Yeah.
It was preposterous. So, dropped out and decided, I'll show them. Yeah. I'm gonna enlist.
That's what she said. We were, or at least I was applying a little bit of pressure there to get a job, have a skin in the game while you were in college, not just ride student loans. And instead of her going the way, because she already had, what, a year and a half invested, 2 years invested out there?
It was about a year and a half.
Yeah. Instead of going the way that I thought that would go, I get the phone call and she goes, hey, I'm dropping out of college. I'm joining the Army. So, yeah, she it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I had a preferred course of action, and she turned that upside down and went a different way.
Yeah.
Packed everything up in a, what kind of car did you have at the time?
A Saturn View.
Packed everything up in a Saturn View in California and drove to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yeah, because I didn't want, so I was going to college in California, which is part of the reason I had student loans. I had, because of the VA, I actually have free tuition.
Right.
But
when the the western border of your college campus is the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Other things
you gotta
are expensive.
live. Yeah. And the thing is, you can't use student loans to pay for rent.
Exactly.
If you use student loans for room and board, it has to be on campus.
Right.
Well, people who live together in town paid a lot less than those of us in the dorms. Because if you're in the dorms, you have to have a meal plan and you have to have this. So it gets very expensive. California's not a cheap place to be anyway, but I really wanted the 4-year experience. Well, I got it. And so I was like grading exams for the math department, and then I was like a nanny/tutor. And then because it was so expensive, I was trying to take more than the minimum course load. So when it was like, oh, get a job, I was like, I felt like I had to, and I'm taking extra courses to save money. I don't like, when am I going to do this? And so I was like, this is not sustainable. I can't do what my parents want. I don't have a credit score. They have to co-sign. And I don't feel like getting an argument right before final exams every semester.
Yeah.
It's hard to like study like that. So I was like, dude, I'm out of here. And like when you're not particularly passionate about what you're doing,
it's easy to make.
You know what I mean? It's easy to let go and not continue to fight with your family. So drove to North Carolina because that's where you were. And I did not want to enlist out of California for tax purposes. So at the ripe old age of 20, I had understood. I didn't know much about money, but I knew that was not the move. And so packed everything up in the Saturn View. I had loaded only half of because I put the seats down in the back and loaded only half, and I put some blankets. I had like a kitchen knife back there, and I didn't have money to like stay in a hotel and all this stuff. I didn't want to take money from anybody because that's what started this whole thing. So I was driving, and I would drive till I got tired, and then I would pull over and I would sleep till I woke up. And
Clutching your kitchen knife.
Yeah. And then I would just keep going like that all the way across the country.
What an experience.
Took me 4.5 days
yeah, I
of
think
that.
if I remember correctly.
And like when I got to Alabama, like I stayed with some friends in Texas. When I got to Alabama, I stayed with Jen and then, kept going and, did it in really record time. No accidents, no speeding tickets, like no nothing, made it
and
over
the Saturn
there.
View held up the whole way.
She
which
sure
is
did.
Impressive,
and then
right?
Maddie she didn't buy it. I think I just gave it to her.
Yeah, when you ended up getting into or going to basic training or something.
Something like that where I wasn't going to be able to use it. And then so Maddie kept using it. So that little Saturn View, I don't know where she is now, but she's probably still chugging along. So enlisted. I had some student loan debt, obviously. So I picked an MOS that would forgive those student loans.
Yeah.
And
she was going to be a cryptographic linguist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
MI.
Yep.
Nerd.
MI. And so for that job, you go from basic training to language school and then to AIT.
Right.
Because if you're going to wash out, you're going to wash out in language school.
Yep.
So they want to like.
And you have to take, for the people that may not know, you have to take a language aptitude test. We call it the D-Lab. Or it used to be called the D-Lab in the Army. I don't know what it's called anymore, maybe. But where you have to do your best to understand this made-up language, if I remember correctly, right? And it evaluates your ability to pick up foreign languages. You know, how easy you're going to pick up foreign languages. And depending on how high you score on the D-Lab, it qualifies you for different languages. And I think there's 4 categories of languages. Is that right?
When I went through, there was,
Yeah, and your more difficult ones are Category 4. That's where your Mandarin Chinese is. That's where your Russian is. That's where your Pashto is.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give our listeners some background on that.
Yeah, so And like the categories of language or difficulty, it's all relative to like an English speaker.
Right.
So like that's why French, Spanish, Italian, like those are Cat 1 because you already have a base for that grammatical structure.
Very, very similar. Right.
Yeah, but those languages, like people that get those languages, they're not necessarily having an easier time because those courses are 6 months. So like if you think like you got to know however many thousands of words to be fluent, you've got 6 months to download all that information. Whereas like I got the Cat 4 Pashto language, I had 52 weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
So like
right back
year.
in California.
Yeah, it was so weird.
About 60 miles from where you were going to college.
Going back to the Monterey, like the Bay Area.
We're jumping.
Sorry.
So she gets here, she enlists, she goes to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yep.
Right? And then from Fort Jackson, the factory, she goes back out to California, to Monterey, and starts language school.
Yeah, so I start language school. I loved basic training, minus like, the normal BS, but I liked being in the field. I liked going to the range, like land nav. I enjoyed all that stuff. And then I get to language school and I feel like I'm back in college again. Like I'm not doing all of those things. And I remember having a conversation with you and I was like, well, because I didn't really like DLI, so I didn't know DLI's being the Defense Language Institute. That's language school. I didn't enjoy DLI so much. So I was looking at all these different things in the Army that you could do if you're reasonably physically fit, a female at the time during the GWAT, and a language, which the possibilities were endless. And you told me focus on 3 things. And you even asked, you were like, what do you think those 3 things are? And I was like, my language. And he's like, exactly. If you fail language, no one's going to really care. And then I was like, physical fitness. And you were like, yep. And that was an easy one. They had a gym, all this stuff. And I was getting really fit compared to where I was before the Army. And then I was like, I didn't really know, was not sure about the last one, but you were like being a good soldier. And I was like, well, I don't feel like I can do that here. And you were like, well, how do you think you can do it? Like, what are the soldiering things that are going on? Because we weren't going to the range. We weren't doing, and I was like, well, they've got these Soldier of the Month boards.
There you go.
And you're like, you should do them.
Absolutely.
So I studied for one, did it, made it on to the next and the next. And eventually I'm at like the Battalion Soldier of the Quarter, something like that. I guess won that one. And then, so at DLI, it's a joint installation. Yes. And so all those kids that go to the top of like the Army's battalion, the Marine Corps detachment, yada, yada, then they make them learn each other's services. They have a standard handbook they give to everybody. And then you go onto a joint service board. And so I went to that, and I don't think I won that one, but it was still really cool. I got to be in front of the battalion commander. I'd never been in front of the...
That's what boards are about. They're uncomfortable. Anybody that's ever been to one, whether it's a promotion board, Soldier of the Quarter, Soldier of the Year, Soldier of the Month, whatever it is, they're uncomfortable. You're in front of leadership. You're on the X, so to speak. You're on the spot. You're in your dress uniform. It requires a tremendous amount of preparation, which is a good indication of your discipline and your attention to detail. And then it forces you to react with really senior people in the Army that on a day-to-day basis you're not going to have the opportunity to interact with. If you do have the opportunity to interact with them, it's not because something good's happening usually, right?
If you're doing fine, they're leaving you alone.
Absolutely,
and,
right?
Yeah, and I think like the preparation that you put into it, that's one thing. And then the realization that before you go in there, like it actually is immaterial how much preparation you did. You have to execute in the moment.
Absolutely.
And I think that for young soldiers is huge because like if you got participation trophies growing up, you're not going to get them in there. Nobody cares.
We only care about the winner, right? I mean,
and you'll suffer more if you go in there, you don't execute in the moment, and it becomes apparent that you did not prepare. You will suffer more than if you just kind of fumble, but you worked really hard to get ready, but you didn't execute. And
everybody that's sitting across the table from you, the guys that are asking the questions, the board members, they've all been there. And,
particularly the E9s.
Yes. And when I would be the president of a board, I would, before we brought any of the soldiers in, I would always remind the board members, hey, don't forget you were in that chair not too long ago, right? Understand they're going to be nervous, right? You got to get past the nerves to figure out, as a board member asking the questions, my philosophy was get past the soldiers' nerves so you can determine, do they know what they're talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if a paratrooper's scared in the plane. If he goes out the door,
that's exactly
good
right.
enough.
You
know what I mean?
Get him out the door and get him on the ground, see what he can do.
And that's
right?
almost more
Same thing
valuable.
in the
Like
board,
execute while you're scared.
Yeah, you got to be able to function.
Huge.
Right? Being brave is not the absence of fear. It's being able to do what you're supposed to do in spite of the fear.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable to sit in there in front of 5 to 7 people who each have over 20 years of experience in this organization that you're just trying to break into. So it's a gut check. Significant emotional event. But so much good comes out of it, from the time that it takes to prep to your ability to put a thought together on the spot, to interact with more senior people. You understand them. They get a chance to see your face. This is a lot of good comes out of that stuff.
Yeah. And so anyway, and then, Joint Service Board is over. Really exciting, really cool. It's done. And I continue on. I finish up language. I prep for the Defense Language Proficiency Test, which is, you can graduate DLI on a coursework perspective. If you fail the DLPT, you don't qualify for the job. So you kind of have 2 big wickets that you've got to hit. One side note, I had the opportunity, because I had some college, to apply my credits, and I think I had a test out of 1 computer course. I actually got an associate's.
While you were at DLI?
Yeah, from like UC Monterey.
Nice.
Or Monterey State, one of the 2. I'm hot. Hold on, let me put this down. But anyway, I'll keep talking. But so I don't know. Normally
they bundle you guys up when you're up at
normally when you've got
you got your battle ring on too, huh?
Oh, this is the real one. The battle ring's in the trunk. Right. Normally when you've got this on, you have a roommate to get these buttons done. It is incredibly challenging by yourself. I was doing these buttons by myself, trying to hurry because I didn't know when you were getting here. And I was like, man, when they said cooperate to graduate.
They really meant it. Huh?
They really meant it, and they were referring to
I cannot believe that's what they expected you guys to wear at dress occasions.
This thing weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah, I know, right? And you guys wear it and stand for the whole ball game. That's
stand for
awesome.
The whole...
Oh my gosh!
Well,
we're going to talk about that.
I just wanted to slip into something a little more comfortable.
We're going to talk about my experience at West Point and what I took away as a father and a senior enlisted guy who got up there. Once we wrap up how you backed yourself in there. Yeah,
so I'll speed run through this. So in the background of me finishing everything up, apparently what West Point does is scrubs every soldier's ERB that goes in there.
Yeah.
Typically
into DLI.
Into DLI because they've in
got
an
some
academic
proven academic ability. That's right.
A lot of them have a little bit of college. A lot of them have taken the SAT already. They're young. They're not married, so they hit all the wickets. West Point leaves like 80 slots open every year for regular Army people or soldiers to come in as cadets, and they like never get filled. And then you don't need a senator to nominate you. The regular Army nominates you. So, so all that's going on in the background. I've got no idea.
Right.
I am literally packing my green duffel to go to AIT to go to Texas.
Right.
I get a text or a phone call from my platoon sergeant saying, who's like a cadre member, so he's like, hey, you need to come over here and talk to First Sergeant. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, come on. Like,
with a week left?
I was so close, dude.
The Rolodex goes through your mind. What did he find out about?
Yeah, and I was like a specialist. So it's like, what did I do wrong? Like a lot of things. Like, what's the time frame? Like, bracket me in.
What's he know about, right?
And you've got like a security clearance to worry about. Like, this is not just like a regular line infantry soldier.
No.
That's a high bar of fuck-ups to get called in the First Sergeant's office. Like, for MI,
you don't wanna, that's not where you want to be.
You don't pay a credit card and you're getting called. You know what I mean?
You're on the road, man.
So I go in, and he goes, do you know anything about you going to West Point? And I was like, what? You know, and the funny thing is it was December when this happened, thereabouts. I was at the bar with one of my buddies, and we were watching the Army-Navy game.
Oh, wow.
And I pointed to the screen because they were wearing this. And I was like, you wouldn't catch me dead, something like that. I swear I was talking shit in the bar to the TV. Like, look at these dorks. You know what I mean? I'm a real soldier, you know, like so stupid.
Yeah, I've been to basic and DLI for a year.
Like, and these cadets freaking boot, you know, shut up. And
war breaks out tomorrow, you don't rate a bullet.
Yeah. So I'm like, no, what? And he was like, did you talk to a recruiter? Like, what? Why? He was pissed because he thought I had gone and worked a deal, and I didn't tell him.
Right.
And I was like, I truly have no idea what you're talking about. And then my commander walks in and goes, Cadet Maddox. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, West Point said that you've got 24 hours to submit your application because you're like a shoo-in to go, but you still have to
You got to go through the process.
Right? Medical evaluation. All that stuff. You've got like 24 hours to make a decision because if you want to submit this application, we have to pull your orders to Texas.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, and so I'm like, okay, I guess I have 24 hours to decide if I want to go to West Point or not.
So this is where I get a phone call, and I guess I was a SAR major at the time. Yeah,
You were.
I was definitely a SAR major at the time. And I get a phone call from Jess out at DLI, and I answer the phone, and the first words out of her mouth are, what'd you do? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, what did you do? I'm like, like you getting called to your first sergeant. I was like, all right, you have to narrow it down. You know, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm a sergeant major. I'm on the warpath 90% of the time, right? So, she goes, Dad, I've been offered an appointment to West Point. I've got less than 24 hours to make a decision. And, you know, I'd been in the Army over 20 years at that point, and I had never heard of the path that she was about to step down that we explained. What I had heard of was enlisted soldiers going to the preparatory course.
Yes.
And then once they do the preparatory course, then they go into the academy. What I had never heard of was a direct appointment. But I knew who to call. When I was a first sergeant, my company commander was she still is, she's a West Point graduate, and so I picked up the phone. You know, I told Jess, I said, let me do some check-in. I picked up the phone, and I called Colonel Schaefer, and I was like, hey, here's what Jessica's telling me. Do you know of this? And she goes, yeah. She goes, it's very rare. It's not the normal path that soldiers take to go in there. She goes, but it's absolutely viable. Nobody's pulling her leg. She needs to make a decision, and, you know, so I called Jess back, and I'm like, yeah, hey, this is for real. You know, because I was almost sure that you had
misheard.
And they were trying to send you to the preparatory course, which would have still been
or tell me to go to my unit and then apply.
Yeah. Which would have still been a great, going to the preparatory course would have still been a great opportunity. But no, this was a direct appointment in. And so I guess you made the decision and...
Yeah, and I actually made the decision to apply, but I knew in my head if they told me to go to prep school, I was going to turn it down. Because I had plenty of opportunity on the career path that I was on. I was more than content. But I was like, you know, there was rumors of women being allowed into pre-ranger courses as a pilot to opening up ranger school, opening up units, opening up different jobs. And I had loved all of the Army stuff, so to speak, and basic training so much. I was like,
the gritty stuff.
Yeah.
Not
and
the
I was
pretty
like,
stuff.
Yeah, like the office, you know.
Embroidered bathrobe.
Yeah, well, you know, it doesn't mean you can't look nice while you're laying in the mud. Hello? Come on. And, yeah, so, you know, I was like, man, I could finish my degree. I could put my career in an incubator while the Army sorted out this stuff, and then potentially on the other side of it, I come out with a degree one way or another.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that I could do a job more like I wanted to do, more like, you did, in the global war on terror and all this stuff that, I really wanted to do at the time. I wanted to be a part of that. And in my mind, the whole Army existed to support the 11 Bravo. The more I looked at large conflicts, even SOF exists to support the military objectives that the infantrymen are trying to accomplish. And so I was like, man, if I can't be that guy, I could lead that guy, and that would be a huge honor, So I risked it, and I was like, yeah, let's do it, And around February, I got word back that I got in, and I had about 30 days of leave saved up. So I was just at DLI kind of in a holding pattern, teaching incoming
they stopped your
students.
PCS to AIT to Texas to finish out.
And so, I was teaching them like the Pashto alphabet and just like random working out and like hanging out. It was pretty chill. And so then it was back on a plane to North Carolina, stayed with you again. And then I don't remember how we got up to West Point. Did we drive? I know drove. Mom was there too.
Yeah,
she
drove.
met us.
I think she flew in. But me, you, Alana.
I don't even remember that.
We drove. I remember the day we dropped you off.
I remember the day you dropped me off.
Yeah,
I that was awesome.
Did because here's the things you can bring in. Here's the stuff you can't bring in. You don't want to get caught with contraband. It's 0 day anywhere else in the Army except that you're at West Point. And we had we had bought some groceries and some snacks and stuff for the trip and to sustain us while we were there. And you and I took some funny photos of me trying to plant contraband in your bags.
You were like ripping a box of cookies away from me and like all of this stuff. Yeah. So.
And I would tell you, I knew the commissioning channel through West Point and the commissioning channel through ROTC, as well as the commissioning channel of what was it when it was
OCS?
OCS, that's the other one, right? And I was really familiar with ROTC and OCS, because I'd had several soldiers, go through
and Mom
that
went through OCS
process, right? But what I didn't know and I didn't really care about is how we made West Point officers. When you meet one, they come with they're unrightly so, but they come with a stereotype, right?
Yeah.
And the stereotype has not been my experience, but there is a stereotype out there. And, I just really pay that much attention. Honestly, I didn't pay that much attention to them, But I will tell you, when we got up there to drop you off and to see that campus and then to understand the history of that campus when it was a truly a military fort, a war-fighting fort during our War of Independence, and to understand just the who's who of leaders in our nation that have been through there, countless senators, countless congressmen, presidents, CEOs of major corporations, and I knew what the opportunity, what it meant for you to have that opportunity and to step into that fraternity, so to speak. I understood it a little bit, but until I started reading up, as you were getting ready to go up there, and then when we got up there, turns out I had some friends that I had served with in the past that were instructors up there. Remember Jeff Berg?
Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah. So he gave us the down and dirty tour while we were up there, and it really changed my perspective, especially all the stuff that's in your book, the history, and then the monuments, and then the silly, they're not silly, but the stories that the cadets have developed about those monuments all over time, like the superstitions and, don't get lost on which way a certain statue is facing because it means something,
matters.
but, about the person that's there. And then you guys are expected to know and learn and be able to recite all that. So the immersion into such a narrow piece of the Army is important. West Point, and I'm sure the Naval Academy and the Air Force Academy as well, turn out leaders of character. That's a party line. That's what you guys say, right? We turn out leaders of character. Dun, 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 dun. Leaders of character and future future decision makers and leaders of some of the most important things that our nation does. So.
Well, and I think what makes West Point unique is that piece of terrain has been a part of our nation's history.
But before we were a nation, way before
the
we
beginning,
were a
and you
nation.
cannot say that about Navy, and you cannot say that about the Air Force.
That's
Academy.
a fact.
And then the difference is in the campus, because I'm proud to say I have never stepped foot on Annapolis. I have been to the Air Force Academy to drag some girls through the mud on the rugby pitch a time or two, I will say. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they live at elevation, but it doesn't help them.
No.
You know what I mean?
Their wind's still a little...
They're still a little light in the cleats, I guess. You know what I mean?
That was that's every cadet at West Point plays a sport or is involved in some kind of extracurricular physical activity, right? So Jess gets up there and she walks on the D1 rugby team, and she makes a team, and so now she's an athlete at West Point, and we go up. I guess it was
my freshman year.
Yeah, your plebe year, right? And we watch them play rugby, and they just beat the brakes off of Navy at West Point that night.
Oh, yeah.
You guys just destroyed them, put the star up. It was really cool. And then to see how a Division I athletic program truly takes care of its athletes when it comes to diet, when it comes to training, when it comes to, the gear that they outfit you guys in. Everything there was top notch. I do think
and constantly improving.
Maybe they waste money on some unnecessary things. Can you imagine if we gave one of these to every soldier that goes through basic training?
Do you know what happened? This year, they turned the robe black.
Is that?
It's an abomination.
Oh, here we go.
It's the Corps has gone to shit. A black robe, dude. It's so classic Army. Like, if it's not broke, fix it until it is. You know what I mean?
We will invent a problem with our R nut.
What is the matter? Because it's never been tied to the PTs. Because the PTs used to be white and black shorts.
Well, way back in the day, they were yellow and black.
Well, I mean, the West Point specific.
Oh, yeah, you guys are different.
They had different ones. Now they've been in line. Your T-shirt has a different crest, but it's the same color, same uniform, and so then it was the gray and black, and now it's the black on black, and then they've turned the robe black, and it's like, for what reason? We all have gray robes, dude. I would be so pissed if I was graduating, and everybody before me going back to I don't know, I'll say it, the Civil War maybe. Who knows?
You think they gave out robes in the Civil War?
Definitely Patton had a gray
USMA
bathrobe. I mean, it's in the museum.
He graduated in the 20s, I think.
Yeah, and it was it was in the museum, and it's gray, and now you've changed it to black. It just looks like shit. Sorry, guys, but we
take everything else back. We brought back the pinks and greens from World War II.
But then went to a black bathrobe.
But it only affects about 4,000 people. For
the rest of their life.
If they choose to sport it around.
Which they will.
On Army Navy
Mine's
Day.
not even done up. I'm off. I'm out of uniform for an old grad. What you're supposed to do is have all of your cadet or awards and stuff that you got
on your bathrobe,
and then you put everything from the Army, every unit you were in, Ranger tabs, Sapper tabs, everything goes on it.
Your bathrobe.
On your bathrobe. And that in the Spirit video, General Gillen, who was the commandant when I was there, he's now the superintendent.
Oh, he's soup.
Yeah, he wears his bathrobe to Spirit dinners. He did it when I was there. He still does it.
Was it a smoking jacket or something?
No, but his bathrobe, I mean, they all, the length of the cuff will be different. The amount of trim it has will be different as the years go by, but never changing the color. I mean, when somebody sent that to me, I think it was my old roommate sent that to me. I think she knew it was going to piss me off. That's the only reason she wanted me to know that information. Ruined my day. I was so annoyed.
You're so funny because there's some traditions that you don't, that you get mad that we have, and then the things about that are tradition that I wouldn't think you would get upset about, i.e. the color of your bathrobe from West Point, send you off on a.
You spend a lot of time in this thing.
Oh, yeah. We want you to be cozy. You know what I'm saying?
Because
Do you get matching slippers with that?
No, you get shower shoes, though. And
Yeah,
they're
do they
just,
have
they are the
use-
worst flip flops. No. They're like prison flops. Like they're so bad.
Good.
And then you end up upgrading. But like at West Point, the dorms are co-ed. The rooms are not.
Yeah.
So like your company will be on one floor. So there's male and female cadets on one floor. And then obviously there's 2 showers in the middle of the 2 bathrooms, locker rooms in the middle of the hallway. And then the rooms go around in like a U. So the bathrobe's important because you got people walking to and from the shower all the time.
Yeah, in the regular Army, we use PTs for that.
Yeah, but then your PTs get a little like gross and wet, and it's just, and you know, and plebes have to be in uniform all the time. So they had to issue a uniform that's specific for conducting hygiene.
Bathroom.
And yeah, so technically in your room as a plebe, you can be in civilians. Like you don't have to sleep in PTs. And so if you like want to change into your pajamas, this is how you get past that rule, because technically the outer garment is a uniform. You know, West Point doesn't really prescribe too much about your underbits. And so, you know, you can be in uniform and still have your pajamas on. That's, you know, I mean, it serves a real purpose.
So that's how
Your taxpayer dollars hard at work.
Guys. I'm here to tell you. So that's how Jessica backed herself into West Point.
Yep.
And 4 years flew by. You and I attended an Army-Navy game your first year.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I will tell you, as a sports fan first, and then as a soldier second, or yeah, I'll leave it like that. If you get an opportunity to take in an Army-Navy game, you have to do it. It's a bucket list type of thing. Again, you see,
even if you're not in the military, you never served.
no, you got to
just
go
as an American,
interact with the people that are there. We went to the one in Philadelphia. It was so cold, but it was such a great event. You get to see the very best of what our nation is at those at events like that. You get to see a lot of the equipment, a lot of the capability. You get to interact with a lot of leaders in our profession. You know, and just to see the caliber of cadets and midshipmen that have chosen to serve the nation. You know, it's moving, it's humbling. You realize that these kids are all know that they're going into something that, you know, by design has to be bigger than them. You know, their wants, needs, desires are not put first in our profession. The nation comes first. And you have to have the aptitude to serve. And all of that is palatable, and you can feel it when you're around Army-Navy, right? And it is a bitter rivalry until the game's over. And then the camaraderie and the coming together, and, you know, each school standing for each other's alma mater. And, of course, you want to sing second today, boys.
Sing second.
You know, the camaraderie that they show after the game is humbling and amazing. And the bottom line is, if you get a chance to take in Army-Navy, jump on it, man. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, it's like, it feels when you're a cadet and you're in the moment, it's like such a terrible, terrible day, because the game starts at what, 3?
Yeah.
And march on. So when you're watching the game, all the cadets and midshipmen that you see marching on the field, that's not live. That happened at about noon, which means if you're in the Army, you know where I'm going with this. First formation about 7:45. Okay, so you got to Philadelphia the night before
in a bus.
Or if you rented a car, you piled into somebody who has a car, got out there. It's a lot of debauchery that goes on the night before.
No. College kids, debauchery?
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
And then you've got to be...
soldiers,
you've got to be in this, plus another wool uniform underneath it at about 7:45 in the morning. And with, you know, you guys know when you go to Tuscaloosa, I mean, you're probably not parking. You probably don't even have a car. You're probably walking. Yeah. And then you're in, you know, your leather shoes that you wear to class every day. Not the warmest, I'll say. And my first year, I have a really cool picture of it. We had snow piled up on our shoulders and up
your
on our
hats.
hats as we were waiting for march on.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a long day. And I will walk you through my first Army Navy from my perspective, because it was a big one, because that was the first time we had beat Navy in 15 years.
Yeah, a number of years.
Okay, right. So I take pass because, I'm over 21 at that point. And me and my other friend, who was also prior enlisted, we were like, oh, we're taking pass. We rented a car and we drove out there. And I don't even remember what we got into the night before, but it probably wasn't nothing good. And and we are going to the game the next day. Now, I snuck 2 flasks of Kahlua, because your wool pants that you wear come up to well over your belly button. So it's like, oh, these things will be fine. They're not going nowhere. I snuck 2 collapsible flasks of Kahlua because I had big plans to mix them with hot chocolate once I got to the stadium. It's 7:45 in the morning. I am violently hungover.
Violently.
And I'm standing there, and I've never been through one of these before, so I have no idea what to expect, which is even worse. You can't talk yourself through it like, okay, we probably got, 2 more hours till we march on, and I'm just standing there like, it's never going to be over. And I'm like, so we finally form up. We finally start marching on. Okay, so then there's the march on. There's a whole standing there and doing a whole things. People talk, and then you march through the tunnel and up to the seats. So while people are talking, I'm doing one of these. I'm this way, I'm that way. I'm wobbling, dude. And I'm like, if I pass out, the first thing they're going to do is drag me off of this field and crack my uniform open. And they're going to find a plebe, an over 21 plebe, but a plebe, you're not supposed to drink alcohol regardless of your age, plebe year. They're going to crack my uniform open, find 2 flasks of Kahlua in my pants after I've passed out on march on because I was so hungover. I was like, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. It was like a top 10 lock-in of all time. I was like, you're not fucking going out. You're staying up. And so, fast forward, I made it. We get up to the stands. I go get my hot chocolate. I got my Kahlua hot chocolate. It's great. People are in the stands going, I'm doing the same thing. Has somebody got an alcoholic beverage in the cadet section? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You guys need to tighten up.
Yeah, this is crazy. Is this what you guys do up here?
Remember where you're at.
Yeah. So we beat Navy, and it is
nuts.
Bonkers.
Bananas.
We are 100% already making plans to storm the field. E2, so you sit with your company.
Yep.
E2 is in an excellent spot. Okay. We're like, there's a company in front of us, then there's us. We're ready. Okay. And the game ends and everybody starts going. And it becomes a crowd problem real fast, like the pushing, and you're like, are my feet on the ground? Like, am I going to get crushed to death? I don't know. But everybody's moving, and so I'm not too worried about it. I step down one of the stairs, and I step on something soft. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look below me. There's an old grad under my foot.
Old grad is a graduate.
An alumni. Who will sneak into the stands to hang sit out with their old company. And then the tax will come and they'll run them out. And then they'll come back. And so there is a drunken old grad underneath my foot. And I stop the people behind me. I grab him and I yanked him up. And when he got up, he looked like he was ready to swing on me because he was so scared.
Yeah.
If you're out there, I don't know who you are, but you're welcome.
Get up, sir.
Yeah. Come on, dude. Was this amateur hour? Freaking keep your feet under you. And so he gets up.
It's like scared. That old picture where the first sergeant's pulling the wounded captain up, the first sergeant's on horseback. Get up, sir.
That's what it felt like. And so anyway, I spin him around and we head toward the field and we stormed the field and it was just, it was really awesome. And then I don't remember anything after that. So,
Thomas had ball.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We burned the city down that year. It was fantastic. And then the other 2 Army Navies, I'm pretty sure we won. Oh, there was a 10th Mountain the uniforms were all white and there was a blizzard.
It's the first time Army had ever gotten camo right that I can remember.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, in the
Army
era
at large,
of the
right.
ACU pattern, the digital, this was a huge win for Army.
Yep.
They were in all
10th
white.
Mountain, all white, and it snowed.
And it snowed bad, and it was a blizzard, and we won off of a field goal at the end of the
Sure
game.
did.
It was electric. Navy was pulling out
again.
all the stops. They put our kicker out there. He clears his little area. He's getting ready to go. Navy calls timeout. We're like, oh, okay, send him back out. Timeout again. Oh, okay. Saved them all so that you could lose this game in just the most dishonorable fashion. And it was a long kick. It was not a...
No, it wasn't it wasn't a give me, that's for sure.
No.
Especially in the weather conditions, right? Because you're right. I remember seeing it watched that one on TV, and it was cold, and it was a lot of snow, and that kid, he probably doesn't buy a beer for himself every time he goes back to West Point, because they remember.
He's going to be talking about that when he's
forever,
like 80.
Right?
And then there was another one. I'm pretty sure we won that too, but I don't really remember it. It was probably another close one. And then Johnny's banging his head against the wall. What's up, buddy? And then first year I did the boomerang. Wait, no, that was junior year I did the boomerang. And the boomerang was crazy because the boomerang is like, if you're in trouble, you've got a lot of homework, you don't want to spend a lot of money, what you can do is just have West Point bring you out and back. You will leave at like 3 a.m. on game day, and then you'll get there, 7:45, 8, 9 o'clock, do the whole thing. And then they tell you before you get off the bus, they say, once the game is over, once the last alma mater is sung, you have 45 minutes
to get to
These
the bus.
Buses will leave.
They mean it.
Yeah. So I'm rushing, I'm getting out. And, this is like the third time we had beat Navy. And their alumni
Salty.
had it.
Salty, huh?
They were yelling at the midshipmen, you guys don't care, and that's why you're fucking... Brother, it was so funny.
The
Dude,
meltdown.
They were so pissed, yelling at, not the football players, okay?
The whole core of midshipmen.
We're in the stands with you.
Right?
Yeah, so it was truly great. You get good Army Navy stories no matter what. If you go up there as a spectator, as a cadet.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then my time again was your first year when you were 2nd Regiment commander, so it was really easy to find you and pick you out during March On, and the amount of pride, and I mean I had pride when you got accepted, but the fact that you were where you were in your class and in the leadership role that you were in was a really big source of pride. Then you have all the pride, even though I didn't go there, but I am part of the Army, and I think we adopt those football teams. Yeah. Because they says the same thing on their chest that it says across our chest every morning while we're doing PT. So, we kind of adopt that football team, and it was just a great experience. Last plug, if you get a chance to go, you have got to go and make it happen. So, okay, so we talked about all the stuff and things, and we got some of the flair here. You got your bathrobe on, you came out in your grays, but I feel like we're missing something, man. What could we be missing? And, today, being Army Navy, this is kind of like, the scene in The Godfather where, an Italian cannot refuse a request on the day of his daughter's wedding kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So, but I feel like we're missing something.
What are we missing?
I think we're missing the rocket.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Rocket.
I think I remember it. Okay, I haven't done this in a while, so if I nail this, it is purely off of repetition and the blunt force trauma.
Rocket.
Boom. Use me, rah, use me, rah. Ari, rah. Team. Hey!
So they have, it's so funny, man. I did not know how to absorb that the first time I saw a whole.
You just don't ask questions about it.
4,000 cadets doing that, and then they hollered at I think the one of the games we were at, the Corps was taunting the soup, wanted the soup to do the rocket, and he ended up doing the rocket.
You know how every game, West Point will represent a different unit.
Yes.
On their uniforms, it's a bigger deal, Army Navy. The whole uniform is dedicated. Normally it's just a patch. And then on home games, they'll actually bring up soldiers and the CG and leadership from that unit to tour West Point to kind of pitch them like recruiting style. And there was...
insight onto the regular Army and that kind.
Many times we'll know if that CG is a grad. And... getting the soup to do the rocket, that's like, all right, it's another Tuesday. If you get All-American 6...
If you get the division commander to do the rocket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't let a corps commander up. You know what I mean? Come up there. Freedom 6 is just doing... That is the big money because, like, it's been a while for them. They're a little nervous. They're like, I don't want to fuck this up in front of 4,000 cadets. You know
you'll hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to end up a meme.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, when you are asked to do it, you kind of have to do it, as you guys saw. Now, I don't do it every time, because sometimes my dad asks just to be...
Her dad.
When he's, like, losing an argument, he'll be like, the rocket. And it's like, nice try. And,
But, hey, I always get it on the day of Army Navy.
On the day of Army Navy,
can't
no,
refuse it.
you really can't.
It's like written.
Or, if you're at the game, you're going to a game, And even if you can't make it to Army Navy, Army travels all over the country playing games. Like, they would love to have some support on the road out there. Like, that means a lot to them. And you still get, like, they still have the Rabs come down, the band travels. Like, it's still a good time. I went to an away game when I was in Ibolic in Georgia. We had a ball. Like, it was great. So, yeah, that is Army Navy. I have not been keeping up, I'll admit, with much of Army football this year.
6-5.
Oh,
Bowl eligible.
Okay.
Started off really good, beat a couple of good teams, got into a funk in the middle of the season. Their last game was against UTSA, who had not lost in the conference. Army needed the win to get bowl eligible, snuck up and beat them on the road, actually.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
How's Navy doing?
Navy's 11-2. Navy's got a pretty good football team this year. They have, the service academies, it's hard for them to compete with traditional D1 schools.
Yeah, we talked about that
and
last week.
they run triple option. Well, I will tell you, Navy's got a really good quarterback who's not an option
kid
quarterback.
Still there?
He throws the ball. So
I was really hoping he had graduated.
the Army secondary today will be challenged. They're going to have to. Navy's got a really good quarterback, and they've got a really good wide receiver that's been putting up pretty good numbers all year. Navy's favored by 6 points. That's the line
the first time Navy was favored
for the for those of you that are into that kind of thing. And just like any other huge rivalry, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, Texas, Texas A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, you can take those records and you can throw them away. Because it's man on man.
It's a very different game.
It's its own entity and its own every play. They'll play every play out there like that play has its own life.
The psychology of the rivalry is huge, so yeah, hopefully I'm sure Army will pull out the win today. They are actually, so their uniform, have you seen it?
I did.
It is nice. And so
amazing.
It is the commemorative uniform. Normally it's a unit. This is the entire Army because we're coming up on the 250th anniversary.
250 years. Army's older than the nation.
Yep. So it's made to kind of look like the flag, like the Army's flag. That's why it's white. And partly it's because they decide who's going to be in white, and then you kind of design the uniforms around that. But they based it on the flag. I love the font.
Yeah.
That Constitution lettering.
That old script. Yep.
So
It's
cool.
classy, man. It's really classy.
If you can get your hands on one of them jerseys, boy.
I was just thinking, I'll probably pick up, a sweatshirt or long sleeve T-shirt
right?
with that one.
Yeah.
Because
and
that's really
it
cool.
just looks good, even if you don't know all the
really
symbology.
Classy. Yeah.
It's so unique. It's so cool. Navy's uniform looks like shit as usual.
Oh, come on.
I looked at it. I'm never impressed. They don't have, you're working with,
they
blue,
make it out
gold.
I don't see it as bad as you see it. They do them a lot of times reflecting one of the aircraft frames that they fly. What I haven't seen out of the Naval Academy is them throw any recognition to the Marine Corps ever in their uniforms.
Such a lost,
missing an
you could do
opportunity right
so
there,
much stuff
you know?
with the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You could do an all green pickle
Obviously,
suit
I mean,
for the pilots.
You know, you could
on,
argue that the
brother.
Marine Corps' uniform is the best in the Department of War. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, like their dress
Bring
uniform.
in the whatever
bring-
gay guy the Marine Corps got in the back designing their stuff. Put him on TDY. Send him over to Annapolis. Teach them how to design a uniform.
You're right. Navy's missing an opportunity there. Throw some love at the Marine Corps, and let's come up with a
Especially,
Navy football uniform that pays some respects to those
and
guys.
I totally glossed over this. I didn't actually hit it. This is just a classic Navy thing that they do. They will commemorate stuff off of aircraft, off of ships,
yeah.
off of equipment. Air Force does the same thing. You go to their campuses and it's all monuments of equipment. Army, it is monuments of people.
I can speak to West Point. It's all about the folks. I've never been to Annapolis.
And I'm biased, but we appreciate what the Navy and Air Force offer, our country on the national security side.
Yeah, I love the Air Force. Whenever there's a war, they gave us a ride. I like it.
Yeah. The quote from This Kind of War, the book about the Korean War, you can bomb a place into oblivion, you can do whatever, but you'll never own it unless you do what the Roman legions did, put your young men in the mud.
18-year-old boots on the ground, that's the only way
you can't win a war with
territory.
The Navy.
No, you
can't win a war with the Air Force.
You can set conditions, but you don't own it, and you don't impose your will.
Humans are like cockroaches. We'll be back.
You don't impose your will on your enemy until there's an 18-year-old young man or woman standing there with their feet in the mud. So that's
you
exactly
can't.
Right.
You will not win the war without the Army there holding terrain. No matter what, we appreciate the assistance from our younger brothers.
The Navy will tell you really quick too that what is it? 2/3 of the world is water, but all the people.
What are you out there fighting jellyfish?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Navy. All the people live on land.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You got beef with the kelp. What are we saying?
Hey, walrus. Come here.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Give me some of that oil.
I have to talk to you a minute. Yeah, huh? Forget about it.
Yeah, so I am. I don't care. On Army Navy Day, I'll talk shit about the Navy as an enterprise. I don't. Completely irrational. I do not care. No,
we're
but
not
I'm
sugarcoating it.
Yeah. So we got that coming up today. Again, this is another thing. We're talking about college football on a Saturday. It's going to age like a bag of milk by Thursday.
Yeah.
Or we're going to look like
we're going to look like
the coolest
soothsayer.
prediction.
Yeah, for real.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
Navy, like I said, Navy is favored by 6. So are you taking Army outright? Army's winning today?
Duh.
Okay, let's go Army.
What are you talking about?
Army.
Yeah. So what we didn't get to last week is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. We got to go back.
Yep.
Get in the Wayback Machine.
Yep. So rewinding to Thanksgiving, Jordan, Johnny, Murphy, and I went up to Wisconsin. We went up there a little early because we wanted to be up there in time for the deer season opener. Opening weekend up there is huge. And I didn't know because I've never hunted deer before this moment. And I'd never been really involved in, you can't, if you're up in rural Wisconsin, like even if you don't hunt, you are involved in the hunting season opener. And we got up there Saturday, so we didn't hunt Saturday. Jordan's brother hunted, he got a doe. Sunday we had mass, so we were not going to miss, mass for hunting. Jordan's brother goes out again, gets another doe. And we're like, is there going to be...
Save some for the rest of us.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to spook them all off. But we were like, whatever, because, at least we'll be able to take some meat home, like, no big deal. And then and Sunday at Mass, in the, first prayer that the priest did, he was, praying for the hunters, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And, so then we go out on Monday, and we are on Jordan's family farm, 250 acres. Most of it's pasture and stuff like that, but they've got 50 acres in the back that's wooded. And they've had a deer stand that Jordan built when he was I don't know, 11, 13, something like that. He built that thing, and it's still there. And it's just on the ground, you know? And, so we unload everything, and we go walking back there, find a deer stand. We get in it, and we just sit there. And it's cold, and we're trying to be quiet. We weren't too worried about it till about 8:30. Then we knew it was like game time. Like, shut up. But we're sitting there, and it was literally like, that's my husband, that's the father of my child. But in that moment, that was 2 infantrymen sitting in a foxhole. It was so cool. We were just talking shit, telling stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I was sitting in there with my best friend. It was so cool. And game time comes around. We stop talking and we just sit there. And the nice thing about hunting with your spouse is you can sit there and not say a damn word, and it's really no big deal.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wanted to move my little backpack out of the way so I could uncross my legs or something. So I lean down real slow and move the backpack out of the way. I lean up. And I look over my shoulder and I go, there it is. And Jordan goes, yeah. We had both seen it at the exact same time. And so Jordan, he's got a background in some long range shooting. He's got a background in some stalking. He has learned a tremendous amount this past year with some of the training that he's done. So I get to sit back because I don't have the rifle, because this was the freezer filler. We needed it to.
If it's brown, it's down.
If it's brown, it's down. We needed somebody consistent, So I lean back because the deer's to my right and Jordan's sitting on my left. And Jordan lifts the rifle up right in his silhouette, doesn't break his silhouette, sets the rifle down right in front of me. So the rifle's where my mic is. And I see him get behind his little scope. And I just I close my eyes because I didn't want to jump or anticipate it. I did this on airborne operations too. Right before I hit the ground, I cose my eyes. I know you're not supposed to do that, but it works like a charm every time.
What?
I don't want to know it's coming. I get everything situated and then I'm out. Let me know when there's something else to do.
No, you keep your eyes on the horizon, man.
Yeah, but once I hit the tree line.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
See ya.
No.
I'm out.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, I close my eyes. I hear the shot go. It's suppressed, so it's not loud. And the deer takes off. Mm-hmm. And he's running. And as soon as we sat down, we didn't even have to talk to each other about it, but it was 2 infantrymen in a foxhole. We're like, lane.
Fields of fire.
Yeah.
Fields of observation.
We had a range card, but so the deer's going, he takes another shot at lane 2, and then I'm automatically looking at lane 3 because that's the next point where he has a shot. And I see the deer's ass go up in the air, and then I don't see the deer anymore. And I'm like, I think as the deer's ass goes up in the air, I'm like, he's fallen. Or I said it's fallen. We didn't know it was a buck at the time. And Jordan goes, yeah. He's a man of...
Jordan's a man of few words.
Very few words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because in my mind, I'd never been hunting before. But
I didn't know he shot twice. You didn't tell me that.
He did, yeah. No. And I'll tell you where the second one hit him.
Did he hit him both times?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so...
Never shoot twice. We've
I
talked
mean,
about that.
Why not? We're out
Don't
there.
Shoot twice.
Well, we weren't out
Bad
there
guys
to
will
kill a
figure out
bunch
where
of...
you're at. Indians will come get you.
Yeah, good. Have you heard of... I introduced you to my friend Defense in Depth.
You only shoot once.
So that... I was like... Because we had tried to hunt squirrels back in the day. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting up against a tree, and you had taught me a lot about when animals do certain things in the forest, what it means. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting there and nothing's going on. And then the squirrels start fucking around. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And what I was worried about was Jordan's parents are building a house. Mm-hmm. And so the workers showed up and they're using their nail gun and they're hammering and stuff like that. But then I kept hearing the squirrels. And I was like, oh, the animals are used to the builders. Mm-hmm. So this is not a big deal. Mm-hmm. because Jordan was thinking like, man, you know, Chris was out here. There was no builders because it was the weekend. These builders might cause an issue, but it didn't. And then another thing I knew about deer was they live in the forest. So I thought it highly unlikely.
Captain Obvious.
I know. Literally
West Point
a captain.
education paying off right there.
Deer do live in the forest. The sea is a vast expanse of water. It's important that we define terms.
There you go. Terms of reference. I got it.
Yeah. So I was like, this deer lives out here. Like, there's no way it tripped, right? I was genuinely.
They're a little bit sure-footed. Okay.
Yeah, like the butt went up in the air. I saw its white booty up in the air, and then I didn't see it anymore. And I was like, but the terrain slopes down toward a body of water, which is why they walked in front of us. And I was like, well, he couldn't have tripped, could he? And then Jordan's like, let's just give it a minute, because he wanted to let it, if it was bleeding out.
You want to let it finish.
And not get up and run, and now
again.
you've got an issue because it's, on somebody else's land or whatever. So we wait like 2 minutes, and then we go up to look at it, and I remember Jordan turning around going, it's a buck. And I was like, we got one antler that's like this, and we got like a broken one. So it was like a yearling. Like it was young.
It was a yearling. It was.
He was young but scrappy.
Okay. I was teasing Jordan through Jess that he had shot Bambi. The thing had barely gotten rid of its spots. It was because you hear, or I've never hunted in Wisconsin, but you hear how big the deer are up there, right? Like they're big, they're bruisers, right? And then you guys send the picture, and you got this little. Looks like a South Alabama deer. It ain't much bigger than a dog.
Full grown South Alabama deer. How big was your deer this year, Dad?
He's still out there.
Out there. He's finishing off on grain or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. He's putting on that final 5 pounds for New Year's.
I guess your deer's probably, well, I don't want to give it away, but I think I know where your next deer is at. But, yeah, so.
Probably at dinner at your house.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been eating it. It is so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the cool thing about what we did was, we were only up there for a little while. We didn't have time to send it off. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense to send it off to a processor or get it mailed. It was just crazy. So we were like, well, if we get a deer, we're processing this thing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, there's like 2 steps to it. Is like eviscerating it, skinning it, getting it cooled off, and then there's all the processing and like deboning and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what we'll do is we'll buy a chest freezer if we get a deer. We're not going to drive up there with one, but if we get a deer, we'll buy a chest freezer, because I didn't know how much room the meat was going to take up. I didn't want to do I didn't want to do a cooler if we got 2, So I was like, we'll just get a chest freezer. I need one for the shop anyway. So, whatever. And then, and then I watched, God dang it, Salty Cracker.
Stale cracker.
Salty cracker. My bad.
Put it on a cracker, dude.
Put it on
Salty
a cracker, dude.
Stale cracker is the guy.
He has got quite the library on YouTube of incredibly informational videos. And the first one was him skinning a deer with a pocket knife. Mm-hmm. So I watched that one. And then the second one was him. He wasn't using a pocket knife, but he still just had one knife. Mm-hmm. Completely deboning the entire deer. So over the course of the first day, Jordan and I are, working out how to do this. We're stringing the deer up in like a shed, and then we're like, okay, like, we got to skin it or whatever. And his brother's like looking for the bone saw. And I was like, Chris, I don't think we need that. Mm-mm. And so, because I've broken down enough chicken before to know, like, your body's not solid bone. There's gaps. Mm-hmm. So I found me a little gap on that elbow. And then I hand that elbow over to Jordan. And Chris is looking for the bone saw, and you hear, and I'm like, I think we got it, And so we just twist off, and we do the same thing with the head. So the hide all comes off in like one thing. You get very little hair on the meat.
Yes,
that's
a good way to do it, yeah. And then, if you were tanning your own leather and making your own clothing,
be so cool.
Having it come off intact is more better, more gooder, way more gooder.
And then the next day, so we let it cool off the rest of the night. It's winter in Wisconsin, so we really just left it out there. We didn't do, we'd had the gut pile, we use the same gut pile his brother was using, which is like up by the field. It's away from where the deer are normally and all that stuff. But we had the deer
Murph
hanging.
didn't find it?
No, but he came with us the next day when we were actually processing the deer, and we were giving him, stuff we cut off that was a little slimy, or like where the deer had gotten shot, there was some blood in the cavity that like had coagulated, and I wasn't trying to freeze coagulated blood. Gross. I don't want to deal with that. So we were giving it to the dog, but yeah. So where the deer got shot the first time, Jordan shoots it in the shoulder, obviously. Blows through the top of the heart. We find it not in the backstrap, but in the tenderloin.
The round didn't go all the way through him.
No.
Oh, that surprises me with the caliber that Jordan was shooting.
Yeah. And so, and we actually, when we pulled out, like we cut the backstraps off first, spun it around and pulled the tenderloins out from the inside of the rib cage, and we actually found the round in there. And then as we were, the day before, as we were pulling the hide off, we were looking at the lower legs because it was hanging up. So I was kind of cutting the skin off around the lower leg so I could start. And we see on the lower leg, the hair is just cut in a straight line. That was the second round, had just grazed the deer, cut its hair because it was hot, and then just went, phew, and like.
How'd it go?
It was suppressed. Yeah. So anyway, that was, and Jordan was like, "Hey, I hit it twice."
Allegedly.
Count it. Yeah. So, but no, that was a really cool experience. I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah, it's neat, right?
Jordan had done rabbit in Sears school, and so when we got the skin off, he was looking at it. And he was like, "It's just a big ass rabbit."
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
You skin squirrel, rabbit, any small game,
Yeah,
pretty
and
much the same.
it's so much more approachable to do it yourself than it is, because one, you'll get more meat out of it. That's more respect for the animal. That's more for your family than if you send it to a butcher, because they're on time, so they're trying to get stuff done, get you what you need to get out of their hair.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the future's going to bring.
Exactly.
And, the more you can do for yourself, and the more self-sufficient you are, especially when it comes to providing food for your family, the more you can sustain that yourself, the better I think you're going to be.
And then you can pass that information on, because like I had to, not a knock on you, but like, or mom, but I had to learn from YouTube how to skin a deer. Johnny's going to learn how to skin a deer from me.
His dad or your mom. That's right.
So like, so I think, that's really cool. And we actually I have 2 cookbooks that I write in. One has all my recipes because, your mom did that and that's been invaluable for our family. The other one, there's 2 volumes of it. The other volume is how what I grow in my kitchen garden. So like where I'm at in North Carolina, the climate zone I'm in, and then I list all the stuff I grow, and if I grow it in a garden bed, in ground, in a bag, whatever. And then the rest of the book is just preserving and processing food.
Nice.
So like I take the passing down of that information like really seriously. I think that's very crucial. We're lucky we have YouTube. We can look up anything, but like you said, you don't know what the future holds. Even books that I have about like canning and stuff, I could look all that up online. I have a book for all of that stuff just in case we don't have internet. I could
probably do that because we canned a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, my grandmothers.
You had to.
Corn, pickles, squash, you name it, man. We just,
because your freezer only has so much space, and you need that
we
for
had,
meat.
closets and pantries full of mason jars with different stuff in them, right?
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, so like, I have this great homesteading book that takes you through like canning, if you've got a pressure canner or you're just doing water bath, jams, vegetables, meat soups.
If you want to actually don't know anything
can.
About that.
Yeah, so like if you want to make like
everything was frozen that way.
Yeah, so if you want to make like a vegetable soup with beef chunks in it, it tells you how to do all that. It also tells you like things to have prepped before a natural disaster.
Yep.
If a natural disaster happens and you need to get clean water, like it's very specific.
That's good.
And yeah, it's an absolute great reference guide. I recommend that everybody have like kind of those crucial things, like write them down somewhere so you can pass them on, but also so you have them if things go sideways, like a hurricane in North Carolina.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
How did those people get water? You know, I go a little bit off the deep end. Part of the reason I cloth diapered Johnny when he was an infant is because of the hurricane in North Carolina. I saw all these people who could not put diapers on. They couldn't get diapers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what do you do? I mean, I guess you can just let him run around naked. He's outside anyway, but you know, because your house is gone. But
feral.
But yeah, if they don't have a clean diaper and they're not clean, they get sick, and then it just causes these other issues. So, yeah, so that's being able to do that with Jordan, and like, you know, seeing my husband shoot this deer and put meat in the freezer, seeing the look on his face when he did that.
He's proud because he's providing, and then, you know, I don't want to sound weird, but you know, it affirms the choice you made, you know, in a mate, somebody that can provide.
Because like he provides day to day with his stable job that comes with benefits that takes up a lot of his time, that requires a lot of energy.
Guaranteed.
But then he went out there and he shot a deer right in front of me, you know? So like that was really cool. And then on my side, it was like, okay, you know, if you bring something home, I'm gonna know what to do with it.
That's right.
And I'm not gonna let nothing go to waste. Yeah,
that's why men and women are different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Hunters and gatherers.
And because Jordan was helping me skin it, but he was taking all directions from the tower. You know what I mean? Because I was like, you're shooting the deer. And then I was the one that did the research, figured out like, how long do we have to you know? And so he was just like, he helped me out, but it was like.
Good teamwork.
Yeah. And it was really cool. And then the other night, we made dinner with some of the steaks that we had.
Yeah,
this was backstrap. Yeah, we made the backstrap finally. We had backstrap and then a squash puree from the squash in our garden. Yeah. And because I roasted it, froze it down, and then I pulled the bag out and made a puree with it. So there wasn't a single thing on our plate that didn't come from our hands.
Yeah, that's neat.
And
that is really neat.
That's very rare that you can say that in this day and age. And I'm telling you, there is nothing like it. It is so cool. And it was such a satisfying, delicious meal. Like, it was great. Like, that deer meat really didn't taste gamey at all.
No.
Because that deer was in the wild. Like,
and you know, it was a yearling, you know, and that makes the meat like, it doesn't make it, but their meat is really tender.
It is.
You know?
It was like melting.
Really
it was like filet.
Yeah,
like it was
really
seriously, it was super good. So
and deer is super healthy for you too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that high in protein and yeah, it's a really healthy meat.
Yeah, it's lean. So like I just add,
not a lot of fat.
You know, I put a lot. What I did cast iron. Put a lot of olive oil in the cast iron. Oh, you cooked it in the
cast iron? Mm-hmm. Oh, your Uncle Andy's going to be really proud of you.
Oh, I know. You know, he taught me how to cook steak.
Andy cooked everything in cast iron.
Yeah, right? So I did, cast iron, ton of olive oil, seared it on all sides, and I went in with a Paula Deen amount of salted butter. And I was pretty heavy on the salt and pepper when I seasoned it, but Paula Deen amount of salted butter, and then basted it in the butter, finished it in the oven in the cast iron itself.
Yep.
Sliced it up.
Yeah, it's good.
It was fantastic. It was so good. And so when we processed the deer, we separated out steaks and backstraps, tenderloins, good cuts from random stuff we were just cutting off that we're going to do ground venison with. And then we have a bag of like roasts. And so Jordan got me a vacuum sealer.
Nice.
Which is like, that's like, you know, pressure canner, vacuum sealers, pickling salt. That's like my love language. Like, it's just nothing gets me more excited.
There you go.
Than a new box of mason jars.
But it don't take much, does it?
Sure doesn't. I'm a cheap date. So he bought me this vacuum sealer off of Amazon, and it comes with a roll, and you cut the bag the size that you need it. Yeah. And then, so I was able to, because it's tough because I need to get, everything's frozen together in a block in those bags, and I need to get it pulled out, but not so that it's thawed. Because
just
then the juice squeeze.
Just enough where it'll come apart.
Yeah, so I still need to put the roasts in the vacuum sealed bags, but I got all the good cuts in there. And then we're getting some pig fat from our friends at No BS Meats. Shout out to them. They're local ranchers in Fayetteville.
Yes.
They do pork as well, and their
They do.
sausage is
Can confirm.
incredible.
Can confirm. Pig shoulder's good too.
Yeah, so I'm getting some pig fat from them so that I can make the ground venison.
Nice.
And all that stuff. So that was my Thanksgiving. How was yours?
Smaller than usual.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. You guys need to get up there and see the other side of the family for sure. So smaller than usual. We normally have somewhere between 25 and 30 people over there, and so we scaled back just a little bit. We still did ham. We still did turkey. Alana did most of the sides. Your Aunt Jennifer made the dressing.
How'd she do this year?
Well, Andy was the sous chef. All Jennifer, I'll be honest with you, Jen, I love you. All she did was like put it in the oven. Andy did. She's going to kill me. Andy did all the prep work.
Yeah.
He
Good
said
thing
he's
we
the
have an
sous chef,
Airbnb because
right?
you've been
right?
sleeping in the backyard.
I'm done now, man.
Oh,
She's
no.
going to kill me, man. It was good, man. It was she supervised. Andy did most of the heavy lifting and chopping and stuff, and it turned out really good. And then our friends Jeff and Sherry Flett came over. My buddy Sam came over. So I think we had 11 or 12.
And that's small.
That is small. And usually, we didn't do it this year. Usually, one of our Thanksgiving traditions is silly reindeer games. Like
yes, talk about the reindeer games.
We eat early afternoon, usually around 1400, 2 o'clock. And then once everybody is stuffed themselves and had a short afternoon nap, and the sun goes down, we start in what we call silly reindeer games. And what Alana does is she divides everybody there up into teams, and then she does these games. And if you've ever seen like Minute to Win It, or these games that different types of activities that you might see on YouTube or stuff, she'll put together like 5 or 6, 7 events, and it's teams, right? So there's some strategy going on. You got to figure out who the team's putting forward, and then you kind of match up, your strong point.
Because she makes rules like usually spouses
though.
can't be on the same team. She tries to make the number of service members equal. Kids equal.
Kids are equal.
Yeah.
And she those aren't the only rules she has to come up with, because we have some creative thinkers in our family. We have some creative thinkers. We have people that will, if you give them an opportunity, they will take it.
I think those people are me and you specifically.
If you don't tell them they can't do something, they will. And I'll give you an example of exactly how this works. So the game was, Alana put a piece of bubble gum on a paper plate, and then she covered it with whipped cream, right? And you had to get the piece of bubble gum into your mouth, and the first person to blow a bubble with it won. And that's kind of all she said, right? Yeah, chew up the bubble gum and blow a bubble.
She had not been to law school yet, and
no, she hadn't sealed up. She had not sealed up all the holes and the loopholes. And Jessica and I are sitting across from each other, and we're a little bit competitive, right? And I already know what I'm going to do,
and I know exactly what I'm going to do.
And we're just sitting there looking at each other, and Alana does the countdown, and instead of when she says go, instead of burying our face into the whipped cream, both of us just take a deep breath and blow our whipped cream into the other person's face. Then you pick the bubble gum up, and Jessica and I are sitting here trying to chew this bubble gum up.
And Jen's in the back like, oh my God.
While everybody else is still trying to wallow through the whipped cream to get the bubble gum.
I needed to get the whipped cream out of the way.
I thought the same thing.
Where was it going to go?
Right.
I want to make everything work for me. And so I was like, I'll just blow it in my dad's face.
We didn't say anything to each other. And when she said go, both of us did the same thing.
It was so funny.
that let Alana know that she had to come up with some pretty specific rules, because
just know that I'm going to cheat.
There's some creative thinkers and people that say, I don't want to say cheat. There's some creative thinkers and people that think outside the box when it comes.
Well,
to
if
that.
you were to read your bugle notes, you would know that a large component of cheating is your intent. And so even though it's not technically cheating because you can say Alana didn't write the rules, if your intent is to gain an unfair advantage.
That's how they view that as
That
far
is
as the
cheating.
code goes up
Oh, yeah.
at the Whoopoo? Okay.
Yep, if you are intending to gain an unfair advantage.
Then,
And I'll
you know,
admit I was.
in competition, war, and other events, there is no such thing as an unfair advantage. Unfair advantage,
Yeah.
hey.
Or gaining an unfair advantage, I think, is encouraged.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
100%.
Yeah, because it's when it's a zero-sum
It saves
scenario.
resources. It saves lives. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Well,
absolutely.
some of them anyway. But yeah, so crazy or funny reindeer games, silly reindeer games. We call it something different every year,
Yeah.
but it is truly a ball, and Alana works on it all year, and I'm always so appreciative
She
because
does
it is
a really
so much
good
fun.
job in the kitchen during holidays. She's got a system down.
does.
We've got a kitchen where a couple of people can be in there and cooking and stuff. And, she's got everything timed out to we're never late, and she makes it look really easy. And, she doesn't stress about anything. And
She puts on an event that we
she
all
does.
look forward
Yeah,
to every year,
absolutely.
and it is wonderful.
Whether there's 30 people or, 11,
Yeah.
we're done.
Not again.
Again,
This happened.
last time.
I really need to bring that battery.
All right.
I was thinking we were going to make it, but we didn't. You
didn't.
guys are still
Lost the
listening.
video.
Yep, you're
Lost the
still
video.
listening. You just can't see us. Anyway, go Army, beat Navy.
Go Army. Beat them.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Beat them.